his brother.
He is a great announcer.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Isn't he great?
Yeah. Just, but I mean, I just think it's advanced. It's crazy what, how good that is.
People are just so much stronger. I think he's still up there.
I thought that might help you.
He's like, everybody goes, I'm watching myself.
Well, I mean, when I saw it,
Djokovic used to be.
that they had that other meeting today, and I saw they had that other program list about that, we'll know what happened.
So,
When we went, he still acted ugly.
oh,
And now he's
I love him.
I didn't say.
I don't know anybody.
You don't, there's not many, it takes about a minute.
It's 6:25, and we're going to call the safety committee to order.
Hello.
Hello?
Asking for approval to purchase some TACAN radios, the portable radios, the mobile radios, and the base station radios. None of the current ones that we have are TACAN capable. TACAN, that's a Tennessee Advanced Communication Network. You guys are familiar with that, right? Warren County should be online in about 45 days with this radio system. So, and these radios are in stock, so about the time we get them all here and programmed, it'll be about the time we go online.
When we had that meeting the other night, the emergency management meeting that Jason Hillis put together, they talked a lot about the TACAN radios and how important they were for us to all unify on that in case of an emergency.
Right.
I'll make a motion to take it to the board.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
carries. Thank you, Chief. Is there anything else to come before the safety committee? Hearing none, we stand adjourned.
She moved,
Yeah.
behind
It comes.
It is hard.
Me too.
It's 6:35, and I'll call the Streets and Sanitation Committee meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is to consider the bid from Garver Pavement Condition Index Evaluation and Pavement Management Plan. Linda, you gonna tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this helps answer the age-old question, what street should we pave?
Amen.
So they come in here with a van, they drive all of our streets, take pictures of it, potholes, cracking, all sort manner of details for it. They put it into an algorithm, and what it does is it spits out a PCI number. And that gives us a rating from 0 to 100, 100 being great street, 0 being absolutely bad street. So this gives us an idea of what roads to pave. What's also exciting about Garver is that they have a software that comes with it. So as we make patches to roads, that PCI will change in real time, so we'll know as it goes along. Also, what it will do is gives us the ability to budget. So if we say, hey, we want to spend $500,000 on paving, and we want our PCI score to go all 80s across the board, this will give us a plan saying this street, do this fiscal year, this street, this fiscal year, and everything. So it gives us a great range of planning for the future. It's incredibly useful, and it comes in under budget, and we should have it in 4 months. So we see it as an excellent asset for us to be able to decide what roads are we paving.
Well, that's amazing.
It really is.
Is it in the budget?
Absolutely.
It's $20,000 under.
Yep.
What's our system now for choosing what streets we pave?
I'm not sure at this time. I'm not sure.
A schedule.
Yes. I think we did a study in-house back in 2011, and we might still be going off that.
I have a list of the streets and when they were paved last, but I don't
Yes.
think they didn't go back past 2011, is that right? Am I correct on that?
I don't know.
Yeah, there was a timeline.
I will say that our garbage truck drivers have a bet going on that they can tell which roads are going to be first and second because they drive them every day, every week.
Let's just ask them, yeah.
That's funny. So who runs the software? You do?
The software will have different licenses, so we'll be able to share its data whenever we want. It'll be in-house.
That's incredible. I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, it's incredibly useful. Kind of really excited to see everything and be able to plan long-term to get our roads up to a certain standard.
That's great.
Me too.
I'll make a motion. This is to award.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Any other discussion or anything else to come before this committee meeting?
I'm good.
Hearing none, motion's adjourned. Meeting's adjourned. Oh, yeah.
It is 6:45. We will open a public hearing to hear comments for the rezoning of a property on Waynes Drive located off of Red Road from R1 low density to R2 medium density. If there is anyone who wishes to address the city board, please approach the podium and state your name for the record and sign in, please.
My name's Jimmy Knowles. I've been here for every meeting concerning this development. I live at 1656 Red Road, right across from this proposed development. I've been through our community. A lot of folks, I think, probably thinks the meeting starts at 7 o'clock. So, but anyway, I did go through the community. I carried the print that I was given of the development, proposed development, showed it to everyone. I have another petition here. I presented one at the last one. I have another one here with 40-plus names on it that is opposed to this type of development. I've been going over the R2 request, and it appears to me that we're here for basically the same thing that we were here before. I see very little difference from R2 to R3 as I look at what was on the city's website. So with that in mind, we, as the citizens of Red Road and the Willis subdivision, we're just simply asking that this property be left R1. At the last meetings, all of you recall, I brought the pictures of the drainage issues and those things, those of you that were here. Those things still exist. Everything still exists the way it was before. The only difference in this proposal, at the zoning meeting, the morning we had the rezoning meeting, was that they dropped 3 houses from the proposed bill from 59 to 56. We're talking 56 houses on 14 acres, 2 retention ponds. If you throw the automobiles in there, we're talking 100-plus automobiles, average 2 cars per house. So I want you to try to get a picture of that. I was hoping the plot would be on the TV screen there, but if it's not going to be, I want you to imagine 56 houses on 14 acres along with automobiles. I'm not gonna go into the drainage issues because we've been through that. Again, there is the traffic concern. Everyone I talk to through the Willis has a great concern because 14, if I counted correctly, 14 of these houses back right up next to their property as they make their way down through there. They have great concern about that. Every one of them that signed that was very vocal, to say the least, about this proposed bill. So we're simply asking, leave it at R1. We're not opposed to building. We're not opposed to neighbors, but we are opposed to packing and stacking people together as if it were up there, you could see. Just imagine what this is going to be like. And again, I stress, and I stand to be corrected, from what I can see, the issue that there can still be apartments that they can come back under this R2 zoning. I think it states here under permitted appeal and special exceptions they can still come back and request for apartments or duplexes under this zoning. So I simply say, we're where we're at when we were up here before. We're back basically discussing the same thing again. Just a little different version of the same thing, less 3 houses. And we stand totally opposed to this bill. If this is rejected, it doesn't stop Mr. Similar from selling his property. It doesn't stop him from building on his property. It just stops any developer from being able to pack and stack people together. And there's nothing like this in our neighborhood. One thing that was brought up in one of the meetings was that we have a mixed zoning in our neighborhood. We do. We do have a mixed zoning. But we don't have anything that looks like this. And I don't know of anywhere in the city that we have anything that looks like this. Maybe we do. I don't know of anywhere in the county that we have anything that looks like this proposed development. So all we're asking is just leave our community, help us control the bill, the traffic in our community by leaving it at a R1 the way it is right now. That's all we're asking.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm gonna throw my 2 cents worth in. I own the property. My dad owned it since around 1980. We lived there a long time. Dr. Dietrich or somebody owned that field beside us that became the Willows. And Gordon McGee had a good idea to let's build some houses. And we used to dove hunt on that property, shoot guns, enjoyed it. It was in the county. But to get that Willows in, it had to be put into the city because he needed sewer and all that. So if I had to sign a petition back then, it would have been my dad because we were all minors, and that'd been one person against, I guess, a doctor and Gordon McGee. So I know some people in the Willows don't particularly want that in their backyard. I didn't really want them in our front yard. But didn't really have no say-so at the time. My dad just let things happen, and he just went to work and done his thing. It's not 14 acres, it's like 16 acres, and there's a crest in the middle of the property. Half of the water runoff is going the other way. It's going on towards Faulkner Springs. Half is going towards the front. There will be a retention pond, from what I understand, in the front, and then one in the back. And someone had said something about they didn't want their kids to get in a pond and drown. Well, the retention pond just holds water during a flood, and then it drains back out. It has a pipe in the bottom of it that takes the water back out, and so it doesn't hold water or keep water. I get that nobody wants a bunch of houses by them unless you live in that house and you just like a small yard and you're starting out. Maybe you're young, maybe you just got out of high school a few years ago or whatever, and you need something you can afford. And I get that. And you don't want an old house, you don't want a 1930s, or you don't want a barn-built, lumbered house that we've got all over this place from the 40s and 30s and all that. And I get that. And so that's the kind of people that's wanting it. The people in the county don't want this out there by them. You don't want that by you. Nobody that lives out wants this by them. But we got to put it somewhere or the city doesn't grow. And this is a great place to put it on the simple fact that there's not much road frontage. Most of it's kind of behind everybody. So it's not like it's in everybody's face. But it is a place that's people will be able to afford and stay in this community, because we do have a lot of people that leave this area, and we do need affordable housing here. So I understand how they feel. I felt that way back in the day. But at the same time, if you don't grow this is within the city limits, 16 acres. If we can't do something with some prime land in the middle of the city limits, where are we gonna do it? So we either say no to growth, or we let it happen. And that's up to you guys to decide, because that's what y'all were elected to do. So I'll leave it like that, but I don't tell anybody else what to do with their property. I don't want nobody to tell me what to do with my property, if I can do it through you guys. So anyways, y'all think about it and just make a good decision on everybody's part. And I'm not an angry guy. I'm not gonna be mad at anybody here if it don't go through. But I hope it does for the prosperity of Warren County.
Can you sign in up there? Is there a
Yes.
pen up there? We've got 4 more minutes until the full board meeting starts. If there's anybody else.
Just real quickly, because my neighbor wants to address too, Kim Milligan. And I was here in June as well, and I spoke for you folks. Anyway, thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. I mean, here's the plot, if someone wants to see it. That's what we got there. Thank you. Mr. Gary passed those out, if you were going. I too live on Red Road, and as Mr. Simley states, I remember that property too, undeveloped. There was a pond on there. There's some big fish in there, and it was drained, actually, to build this. And there have been some issues I want to understand, but nonetheless, I was here the last time, and I want my neighbor to speak. I spoke to the traffic. It's still there, still issues. It's still wide open, still semi, still farm truck. All those things are the same. If you'll think of this as just kind of a scale between Cadillac Lane and Falcon Place, 3/10 of a mile, 4 developments, 5 if you think about Hoover Drive. And if you average 50 homes each, and I think I'm under describing it here, that's 250, although Quail Run was sold off and now it's low-income apartments. And by the way, I haven't had the shooting issue. That has been resolved, I hope. But it has caused my wife and I and my daughter to be on guard now. She's disabled, but I'm asking as well to leave this at Zone 1 for peace and serenity, but we're already stacked. We already have the traffic, and if you could just forward us that pleasure of thinking about that, I appreciate it too. Once again, my name's Kim. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hi. My name's Michael Bell. I live on Red Road as well. I got an acre. The road that's on that proposal will run right through the back of my house. We sit and watch deer, horses, goats, all that stuff in our backyard. The property that he owns, his mother, I think, has the goats and the horses and all that. We moved from Murfreesboro to McMinnville because of the more acreages you can own for a less price. I'm only 26 years old. This is my second house. Moved from Florida, Murfreesboro, moved to McMinnville. Me as a young person, I don't want no little bitty home. I got 3 kids, and I don't want 53 homes in my backyard. I look at it as if there's 16 acres, there should be 16 houses back there, an acre apiece. You put all that concrete back there, where's the water gonna go? There's a drainage that runs through the backside of my house, which really needs to be looked into. When it rains, it floods back there. I mean, it's bad. There's a river, and it erodes the houses all around us. They just built 2 houses right across the house from my house. They tore an old house down that was condemned, built 2 more right across from Red Road. I can't remember the road that it's on.
Cadillac Lane.
Cadillac Lane. They just built them, and it's eroding bad now. They had to have their yard fixed to be able to deal with the erosion. And no one thought about that before they built the houses, you know. So I would like for it to stay Zone 1 too. So I just wanted to put in my input, you know, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
My name's Emmett Woodard. We have quite a few family members that live over on Red Road, and as everyone has stated, Red Road is a huge traffic issue now because of all the neighborhoods that have been built out there. And we got people are walking up and down the street from the low-income housing. There's no sidewalk, there's no pathway for them to walk, so they're walking in the road. And we've had several close calls by family members, and so we agree with all these comments about leaving it R1 to try to keep the traffic density down, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll consider this public hearing closed. It is 7 PM. We will call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the McMinnville City Board of Mayor and Aldermen. The first item on the agenda is roll call.
Sally Brock,
Present.
Deidre Dunlap,
Present.
Steve Harvey,
Here.
Rachel Kirby.
Here.
Carrie Morton.
Here.
Carrie Youngblood.
Here.
Mayor Chastain.
Present. Item 2 on the agenda is the consent agenda. If there are no requests for additions, corrections, or deletions from last session's minutes, or questions regarding the listed resolutions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Deidre Dunlap.
Second.
Second by Ms. Carrie Morton. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Sally Brock,
Yes.
Deidre Dunlap,
Aye.
Steve Harvey,
Yes.
Rachel Kirby,
Yes.
Carrie Morton,
Yes.
Carrie Youngblood,
Yes.
Mayor Chastain.
Aye, motion passes. Item 3 is recognition of visitors. If anyone wishes to address the board, come on up and state your name for the record. Hearing none, item 4 is petitions. There are none. Item 5 is a discussion item regarding the schedule in November for our meetings. The second Tuesday of November is Veterans Day, and City Hall will be closed. And then the fourth Tuesday is the week of Thanksgiving, and there have been times historically where we have not met that week. So we either need to meet on Veterans Day or the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, I would wager to say.
Could I request the 18th, just if no one else cares, that would be better for me.
It's the third Tuesday.
It's,
It is.
You're just gonna have one meeting or two.
and we're looking at the 11th and the 25th.
So not to veer from our.
She's
Or,
asking if
oh,
we
if
can
we
do
could,
the
if,
13th.
oh, if we
The
could
third
put it
one.
on the 18th.
Yeah.
I mean, that's totally fine with me.
That what you want?
So I'll entertain a motion to deviate from our normal schedule and have one board and set of committee meetings in November on the 18th.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Steve Harvey.
Second.
Second by Ms. Sally Brock. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Item 6 is action items. Item 6A is ordinance number 2025-10, an ordinance of the city of McMinnville to adopt the annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026, and expressing the time when the ordinance becomes effective. This is the second and final reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Carrie Morton.
Second.
Second by Ms. Rachel Kirby. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Sally Brock,
Yes.
Deidre Dunlap,
Aye.
Steve Harvey,
Yes.
Rachel Kirby,
Yes.
Carrie Morton,
Yes.
Carrie Youngblood,
Yes.
Mayor Chastain.
Aye, motion passes. Item 6B is ordinance number 2025-18, an ordinance of the city of McMinnville to amend sections of the official McMinnville zoning code as outlined in Exhibit A, and to set the date when this ordinance becomes effective. This is the first reading. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Steve Harvey,
Second.
second by Ms. Sally Brock. Sean?
So most of these amendments are just to align with state statutes that are either existing or have just recently been passed, adding those definitions and uses and removing the daycare use as a special exception within those zone districts. And then the last amendment is to changed the process for plat, or it's not plat approval, but development approval in high density. Currently, the site plan had to go through and get approved by the planning commission. The process has always been, it gets submitted to the community development department, it goes out to Ricky, to Public Works, to Water and Sewer, to Fire. Everybody looks at it and makes sure it meets everything. Then we do it, we present it to the planning commission just for confirmation. So this just changes it where it would just stay within the community development department. We get all that approval, the process stays the same. Everybody's still looking at it. It just saves some time and cuts out that formality of the confirmation that it meets.
Does that confirmation as a formality, is there not any information you receive
So
outside
with
of
the site
that?
plan on the planning commission, if the site plan meets all the requirements, there is no basis for denial. So again, it's being looked at to make sure zoning setbacks are met, roadways are, any developments met, the water and sewer are signed off for any infrastructure that's going to be put in. Public Works is signed off if there's any roadways that are going to be put in, all of that. So it
So
gets
it's all
looked at, the
real
planning
check marked?
commission. Yeah, all those, everything still has to be check marked.
Explain about daycares again, what you said.
So with the state, they changed it, if it's 8 or fewer kids, now it is considered residential use. So any residential zoning, we have to allow a daycare home to be placed in that zone district.
Any residential
Any residential district,
district?
yep. And that one just recently passed, I think, July of last year, so,
Through the state.
yep.
And that's 8 or under?
Yeah.
The amount 8.
Who enforces that?
Huh?
Who enforces that? I mean, is that something you guys check on, or is that simply the state, some regulatory body with the state?
As far as follow-up after it passes, I don't know who would enforce that, but I'd rather be ahead of the game and not
I got
have
you.
it raised. so.
Okay.
I think that comes from a complaint.
Yeah.
Well, they would come to the city for approval
Yeah.
through Sean's office, and he would approve or deny it based on.
I was just wondering if somebody got approved, so we're only gonna have 8 or fewer kids at our house during the day, and then all of a sudden they have 20. Like,
That's a
So,
different
there is a state agency that does come look and approve
Oh,
and
okay.
does the initial for the home cares, and so that would be checked through them.
Okay. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Sally Brown,
Yes.
Deidre Dunlap,
Aye.
Steve Harvey,
Yes.
Rachel Kirby,
Yes.
Carrie Morton,
Yes.
Carrie Youngblood,
Yes.
Mayor Chastain.
Aye, motion passes. Item 6C is ordinance number 2025-19, an ordinance of the city of McMinnville to rezone a property at 209 Waynes Drive from R1 low density to R2, I think that should be medium density, or is it high density?
Oh.
R2
Yeah,
R2.
R2 medium density residential, and expressing the time when the ordinance becomes effective. This is the first reading. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion by Ms. Youngblood. And I'll second for the purpose of discussion.
So the request is to go to R2. Some of the differences in there, R3 multifamily is a permitted use. R2, it is listed under a special exception, use on appeal. That would have to, if that ever came about, that would have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals and still seek approval. There's additional requirements for that. As far as what was circulated as far as the plan, that's a concept plan. We're not at the plat stage. They're gonna wait. They cannot submit that plat till the zoning has been approved. And then those plats would have to go through the planning commission approval process for the preliminary and the final plat. At that time is when we address all the stormwater, make sure all that's met, roadways are met, infrastructure, all of that. If you'll look in your packets, TDOT has some traffic data for Red Road. The place below it is just south of Bay Street. The average count for 2024, which is the most recent data, is 1,453. So that's the AADT, which is the average annual daily traffic. That's heading both north and south on that. If you look through the subsequent years, 2023 was 1,511, 2022 was 1,300, 2021 was 1,264, 2020 was 1,453.
So there has been increase, but it's been pretty slight. If you look at the others in that area, most of them are actually higher than that. So Peachtree is about 839, and there's a few others that are a little bit higher than that.
You make an interesting point about multifamily being our special exception. So we could pass R2, and then they get us, and then someone requests a special exception to build a multifamily, and that can be done without us ever having any say-so on it in Board of Zoning Appeals, because that's all it would take at that point to
Yeah,
approve
the
a
board, and then, like I
multifamily.
said, there's a lot of requirements that have to be met and a lot of things looked at to make sure that it met those requirements, so.
Yeah, we would lose any control.
And that was part of the request change, if I'm correct, from the R3 to the R2, was addressing that concern of the multifamily being a permitted use.
Can you reiterate the differences between R1 and R2, just for everyone, if you don't mind?
R1 is the most restrictive, larger lot sizes. R2 does have some more permitted uses, and then there's quite a few more special exceptions listed under that. Again, a lot of those have to meet certain requirements. That includes fire and police stations, which has lot size requirements, all the things. While there's quite a few listed in there, the majority of them would not be feasible for that lot or desired on that, and obviously that's not what the developer's wanting to do. R2 is 7,500 square feet minimum for a single-family dwelling. R1 is 15,000.
Is that about 0.33 acres, is 15,000 square feet?
Yes,
about
roughly.
0.33 acres.
So what's the special exception process? How does all that come about?
So there is application made, it comes to the department, there is a hearing, all the neighbors are notified, all the adjacent neighbors are notified. It comes in front of the BZA, and then they'll bring their decision.
At R1, am I reading this correctly, that potentially R1, as it is now, they could have 30?
Roughly 28 to 30 on there.
Okay.
Like I said, it just depends on how they divide it up and shape that, so, yeah.
28 to 30 homes, is that what your question was?
Yeah.
And then the change to R2 would open that up to roughly 55?
Roughly, like I said, it just depends on the plan, how big those detention bonds would have
Right.
to be and how the roadways are laid out,
If you
that
want to
type of
come up,
stuff.
you can.
We do have some justification and thought process to why, especially R1. Part of it also is, in the permitted uses is mobile homes as well. So just as that point as well as, us looking at it, it's like, that doesn't seem like that's probably a very desirable use for that area as well. The multifamily obviously was a big concern last time, so we said, hey, how can we get, still a plan that works? It works for the area, we can bring in lower, houses at lower value than a lot of other areas. That's a big concern. There's not really a zoning designation that really allows that. So R1 being significantly larger, R3 bring in the multifamily. So R2 is kind of that like sweet spot a little bit. And there's obviously, I know the unit count previously, so we didn't go down that much from the initial one, and that's because we were actually self-imposing. Our external lots were going to be 7,500 square feet anyway. The middle lots were the only ones that were 6,000. So really the outside didn't really change that much. It was really the internal lots. That's why we didn't lose that many, is because we were already saying, hey, we're gonna try to bring, for the neighbors, the larger homes on the outside, put the smaller homes, more dense product on the inside. And so outside is already 7,500, so we said, okay, well, we just have to change the interior of that. It won't be as great of an impact. As Sean mentioned, obviously this is a zoning, this isn't like an SP, so this plan is just our kind of yield study, I guess you could call it. Our engineers still have to look at it. It's very likely that we lose an extra lot here or there just because you have to catch up on grading. You still have to get all your stormwater requirements in, which it takes a lot of space to do that. And yeah, we're just trying to come up with what we deem as the best solution, especially looking at the area with R3 above us, R1 below us. R2 seems like a feasible transition, similar to what on the north side of Willow's R3, then it goes to R2, then it goes to R1. So we're kind of matching that transition. This isn't like a spot zoning as we see it. There's still some context of higher zoning. Willow is R3, it is that higher density, so this actually is less dense than the neighbors to the north technically have, at least zoning wise. So that's kind of just, obviously I'm here to answer any other questions or anything, but that's as we're looking at it. I brought plans, I believe you've probably already seen it, it sounds
Is
like.
this what you have?
Yes, that's correct.
So this is still R1, the R3 is above that? Is that
No,
correct?
this is R3, is this,
Okay.
all of this road, Willow is R3.
Is
Directly north of us, that is where it's R3.
Directly above?
Yeah.
Okay.
And with the stormwater is gonna be addressed if it's R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, any of that. It's not gonna have any bearing on the stormwater. It has to be looked at, and through our regulations, correct me if I'm wrong, Lyndon, we can actually make that, so if it's 1,000 CFS that's leaving that site now, we can make them slightly lower that, which would improve any stormwater in the area.
And we
Through
often,
development as well.
and
And
we
a lot
often do,
that, yeah.
it's just, it helps us, so if there's, like I said, if we can't, our post-construction cannot exceed our pre-construction. So the storm can't get worse, it can only get at least the same, if not better. And so typically, just because obviously there's variances in everything, and so we'll often go slightly below that. I have a project we're working on right now in Winchester where we actually increased the size of our pond just because we looked at it and we said, we feel like it's a lot of water entering the neighbor's property and we don't like that. So we actually made our pond bigger just because we're like, that doesn't feel like that's appropriate for the area. So, yeah, the storm, that's a very common concern. I know the area, at least on our property that's to the east towards Red Road, that's actually a stream, that's not just even a channel, so we actually aren't allowed to touch that. We have to get permits through the state, which we will for the road that comes in. There's ways to do that, but that is a stream, it's classified as a stream. So that's regulated through the CDEC, which obviously that's a whole nother level of approvals and process, which we do pretty regularly, but they definitely are stringent, as I'm sure all you could guess.
Any other questions for the developer or community development?
I think my only thing that I'm cloudy on is that special exception, I guess the whole process, just because I'm not familiar with it. At what point, if someone asked for a special exception, would it be accepted or denied?
So it would get scheduled on, and like I said, we send out notices, that's 7 days before the meeting to join the neighbors. The BZA meets the first Tuesday of the month at 11 o'clock. So depending on when it fell, it would go to the next available meeting for that. And then, like I said, they would have a hearing there and look at it to make sure it meets everything. And there's a lot of different requirements for that, and make sure it fits the area and things of that nature. Like I said, that's only if this development didn't happen and
Correct.
something went crazy down the road, that somebody else would want to do that, so.
Yeah, that was just a concern of your all's. I know and you brought up a very valid point of if this sells and goes to R3 and somebody wants to come do multifamily, then yes, there's nothing that we can do. We don't have that intention, but you are correct. So like I said, the R1 is just, the lots are too large, you can't offset all the utility costs, all the infrastructure costs that you have to do, site grading, all that stuff. Lots will likely be bigger and therefore more valuable. Homes, which sometimes can be good, but in a time where prices keep rising and rising, most communities, that's not what they want. And so these are just more attainable. And then, yeah, the R2 is just, it does give that kind of checkpoint, that like stopgap of it at least gives, I don't know who of you all are on that, but at least the city, someone within the city, or at least the organization, that gives them an opportunity to vote on that. So we felt that was still hopefully trying to give you all a little bit of comfort of there's still a stop. It's not just a full-blown go if we sell it to somebody else. But that's our intent, that's what we were hoping for, and like I said, we felt with the zoning options that there are, the zoning designations, that was the most appropriate.
Anything else? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Sally Brock,
No.
Deidre Dunlap,
No.
Steve Harvey,
No.
Rachel Kirby,
No.
Carrie Morton,
No.
Kara Youngblood,
Yes.
Mayor Chastain.
Yes. Motion fails. Item 7 is recognition of employees and departmental reports. We have several department heads here this evening. If anyone wishes to address the board, come on up.
I'll address the board. All right. Well, I just wanted to say that Public Works this past week and a half has been doing a lot of road patching out there. Been quite busy fixing a lot of our street cuts in terms of our water and sewer cuts. So they've been working real hard this week and next week. A lot of concrete work going to happen out there. We're going to fix Fire Station 1. We'll be out there helping them out, doing some concrete work. Same thing with the wastewater plant. We should be out there doing stuff like that. Let's see here. I wanted to also mention that we'll be paving at the end of the month. We should be paving Locust Street, Lynn Street, Hill Street, I think part of High Street, and Walnut Street.
Is water totally done on?
They're almost
Street?
done. They should-
Almost. We still got Hill Street sewer to do. I think there's one more manhole in that project too.
That'll be good. It's pretty bumpy going down Locust.
It is. But we've talked to Tinsley, we got them coming in towards the end of the month to pave it all. We will be sending out bids for striping, so all of our streets will get to be striped as well, upcoming very soon. Lastly, I didn't want to forget for all those people out there that are thinking we need more Christmas stuff in September. Don't want you to worry, Public Works has got you. We're going to be putting the Christmas tree downtown this month. Could be as early as next week. We've got the order in, and we'll be planting it downtown.
Are we planting this tree?
Yep.
Okay, what kind of tree is it?
I believe it's a spruce tree. It's about 16 foot tall.
Nice.
Yep. So for all those Christmas lovers, it'll start early.
And so where is it going exactly?
I believe it was going to be in like in the left corner on the lot.
Yeah.
I believe is where it's going to be. Yep. So if you're downtown next week, you might get to see some fun. Anyway, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Our new engine is gonna be here Thursday morning, finally. So, we're gonna do a ceremony tradition where we push it into the fire station bay. I just want to personally invite all of you to come down here and do that. Go over the truck with you, show you the new truck. We're gonna be proud of it and we're happy to get it, so hope you all can come out and check it out. And we'll take all the water out before we push it.
That's right, yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
I just wanted to share one thing. In partnership with Main Street McMinnville, the city applied for a grant called the Levitt Amp Music Series. And so we were awarded that grant, but only if the community votes for it. So they only give you the money if you can showcase community support. So we are currently in the voting phase. That voting goes until September 15th. We were #1 in Tennessee and 11th in the nation out of 108 cities as of Sunday, but we have dropped. Other people started picking up the pace, so we're currently 4th in Tennessee, 22nd in the nation, which is still huge because we are competing against cities like Miami, Oceanside, California, and we're ahead of them. So it just really shows the power of community and how much our community wants this. But we really need people to get online and vote. So if you would look at the Main Street McMinnville page, or if you would look at the City of McMinnville page, we have all the ways that you can vote. You can either text or vote online. If everyone listening and everyone in this room would do that for free live music downtown on the lot for 3 years, that would be wonderful. So thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
And I just was breezing through that when I read over how to vote, so I voted. I think you can vote more than once. You can
Well,
vote
so
5
yes, you
times?
can. Let me clear that up because there's a lot of confusion over that. You can vote 5 times, but it must be for 5 different cities.
Oh.
So you can only vote for McMinnville once. You can vote for I don't know, somewhere in Alaska if you want, 4 other times, but McMinnville only once, so, yeah. But if everyone would be willing to support us in that, we'd sure appreciate it, so thank you.
Mr. Manning?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Purtle?
No.
All right, if there's nothing else to come before the board, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you all.